I want to see more children and youth given a say in their lives and the decisions made around them.
I like a city that's free of gangsters.
I would like to see better security systems so when I go to the playground I'll feel safe.
இசை மற்றும் நடனத்துறையில் நல்ல ஒரு வரவேற்பை காண விரும்புகின்றேன்.
More parks and more monkey bars.
Clean toilets. I think that to quite an extent, the development of a state can be gauged by the cleanliness of its toilets.
一个地方青少年退化处是超英和不被视为违法病。
I would like to see people practice the virtue of courtesy and patience, especially drivers on the road.
I'd love to see a better education, a more open-minded one.
Saya nak lorong basikal supaya lebih selamat dan pemandu akan hormat terhadap penunggang basikal.
I want my city to have peace and I want my city to have safeness.
I want to be part of the change today to ensure a better tomorrow.
I think my voice is important because right now I have a chance to say what others my age won't or can't.
We are the teens of Malaysia and we are the future of Malaysia.
I think people should listen to what we have to say because we know what's really going on and how it affects us.
I have a voice.
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 Ya, rakyat Malaysia berumur antara 10 hingga 19 tahun mahu suara mereka didengar. Ya. Hari ini kita akan berbincang tentang isu ini sempena dengan pelancaran laporan keadaan remaja Malaysia UNICEF. Ya. Dan bersama-sama saya di studio, saya perkenalkan tetamu-tetamu saya. Di sebelah kanan, paling hampir dengan saya ialah saudara Victor Karunan, beliau adalah Timbalan Wakil UNICEF Malaysia. Dan juga bersama saya ialah saudara Muhammad Zarif Abdullah Manan, Presiden bagi Persatuan Ibu Bapa dan Guru Sekolah Kebangsaan Assunta 2 Petaling Jaya. Lama tak jumpa. I will start with you first, Victor. Now, when we see that video, and now the report is out today, yeah, on the Adolecence of Malaysia. What would be? I would like to start. What would be the biggest threat? Yeah, because yesterday we interviewed 2 really young people, and they were doing such a great job when you talk about peer-to-peer spreading the message on reproductive health, and I think they, compared to me when I was young, the teachers at that time, I think they were a lot more effective in that sense. So let's start with what were the threats and how do we make sure that Malaysia is a safe place, we have protection, we have education and everything ready for adolescents in this country.
Like you said, I think adolescents in Malaysia are very fortunate, first of all. They live in a country that has prospered so much. They live in a country where they're able to benefit from all the services. However, to me, the main threat that they face as young people in this country is, in a way, the threat of growing up. Meaning that they face the risk in their own lives. And risk behavior is one of the biggest challenges that we face for young people today in the modern world. And that is something that UNICEF has tried to address.
When you say risk behavior,
what we mean by that is behavior that by which young people harm themselves physically in terms of their health, behavior by which they carry out certain practices that are harmful to the communities and to their own peers. And the biggest threat for many young people today is violence on the streets or HIV/AIDS. And these are the types of problems that we're trying to address among young people in the country.
How do you talk to young people? Maybe let's have a parent's view. How do you talk to them? Because nowadays you can't talk, in a very patronizing way. Definitely they will not listen. And I think if they have enough information to empower themselves, they will not be involved in the risks behavior that you just mentioned. How should we communicate with them? Because when we saw the video just now, they are a bunch of mature and intelligent. I wouldn't want to say children, but we should respect them as equal. Yeah,
sure.
How should we approach the
I agree with you 100%, Swami. From my own experience, being a parent for the last 10 years now, the issues which are brought up by my own children, including the adolescents or the kids that we met just now at the launch, are issues which talk about opinions. They want their voice to be heard. their biggest complaint is adults do not listen to them, do not take them seriously, do not give them the true value of their opinions. Now, I can't say very much for all the children, but I can actually speak on behalf of my own kids. And the one thing that I have actually experienced is the fact that no matter how young they are, and you'll be surprised, as we saw just now in the video, they could be very young as 5 or 6. They expect us to understand. And something that the Honourable Minister Shahrizad had mentioned just now in her speech was the fact that we as adults, we tend to forget where we come from. You know, we forget not so long ago we were children. So sometimes we have to actually go back, think back about our own childhood and try to remember all those do's or don'ts that were imposed on us, even though we had an opinion, we had something to express. So in short, I have actually learned the hard way is actually to try and understand. There is no foolproof way of actually solving the problem. We do not always have the answers as a parent, but we need to listen. And when we listen and we try to talk to them as an adult, children do not like to be spoken to as a child.
Exactly.
They want us to speak to them as an adult because they can see the difference. The moment you speak with your wife in one particular way, or your neighbor or your friend, and then the next moment you treat them as a child, they know the difference. So they don't like that. So the one thing which has actually worked with me, especially when I realized that my 10-year-old daughter now is into the category of as an adolescent, is basically to listen, to communicate, to give them an opportunity to share. Because the general thing that they always complain about is the fact that you're not listening. You don't understand.
Exactly.
Easily the most productive and energetic generation of any nation. Filled with ideas and aspirations on the cusp of beginning their adult life, with their hearts full of hope and their brains buzzing with ideas. They have so much to offer to the world. Yet, alarmingly, we see that today's youth seem to be under a lot of stress and under a lot of pressure as they deal with the daily stresses of life. Let us look at some of the commonest challenges and stressors that I see today's youth grappling with. Social isolation. Strange as it may sound, in today's world of endless creativity, the youth of today is experiencing a deep vacuum in their social lives. While on the one hand, they are super connected through WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Tinder, and so many other social media gateways. On the other hand, they experience no real meaningful relationships. So what happens is, in this whole scramble of the fear of missing out, or FOMO as they call it, they have created a scenario for themselves where they feel themselves to be alone despite all the social media noise and chaos around them. Depression. The number of young adults and adolescents experiencing clinical depression is a serious concern. In my clinical practice, I have seen a sharp rise in cases of depression in this particular age group, that is from late adolescence to young adulthood, say about 16 to 25 years of age. The triggers could be anything. It could be work or academic related concerns, it could be interpersonal challenges, it could be social isolation. Whatever may be the trigger, it is important to understand that depression is a serious mental illness and needs to be addressed and treated accordingly. And asking people to simply snap out of it does not really work. In one of our later videos, we will talk more about depression at length. Burnout. Shocking as it may seem, by the time they hit their 20s, this internet generation has already tried everything, be it gaming, pornography, multiple romantic relationships, sexual experimentation, weed, alcohol, smoking. Been there, done that. By the time they're out of their teens, they really have nothing new to look forward to, nothing that makes them curious about the next day to come. All they experience is an immense sense of tiredness, exhaustion, and being drained of energy and interest. Career challenges. This is also the time that they have either just embarked upon their work life or are about to do so. If they have made informed career decisions and enjoy what they are doing, then all is well. However, if they start working and realize that they've made a wrong decision and don't really relish what they are working at, that's when problems start. A lot of the times, they realize that what they thought they would be doing and what the reality is completely different. Often, we have noticed that they enjoy the actual work, but they don't enjoy having to work to a certain schedule, they don't enjoy their paycheck, they don't enjoy their work atmosphere. Finally, it's time to grow up and they realize that life isn't all fun as they had visualized it to be. And that's when they start experiencing stress, difficulties to deal with work-related problems, all kinds of occupational issues start setting in. In one of our later videos, Anuradha, our career expert, will talk about the importance of making informed career choices. Relationships. The very nature of relationships has undergone a change for this generation. The most challenging relationships tend to be with parents, with peers, and with romantic partners, and they have to deal with a lot of challenges in the area of these relationships. I see a lot of youngsters struggling with issues with their parents, ranging from drastically different value systems, communication difficulties, differences about lifestyle and career choices, and so forth. With peers, again, it is the fear of missing out that makes them feel pressurized to do things they may not actually be comfortable doing, be it experimenting with drugs, going out, partying, and so forth. Where romantic relationships are concerned, the difficulties could be due to completely differing ideologies about relationships, commitment, fidelity, and so forth. There could be other issues such as long-distance relationships, issues around sexual exploration, sexual promiscuity, issues around unrealistic expectations that either one or both partners could have from each other and from the relationship. So, these are the 5 most common challenges that we see with young adults today. Other, more intense and clinical problems such as anxieties, eating disorders, bipolar or mood disorders, and other issues related to gaming addictions,